Amitabha Buddha salutes all the people. Ladies and gentlemen, the people woke up this morning. The first idea is, do people remember the Buddha? People remember the Buddha, but do people have the heart to pray for the dead? Dear people, it's the solar calendar. Please allow me to recite the Buddha's before going into shared learning. Adi-da Buddha. Adi-da Buddha. Adi-da Buddha. I ask Amitabha Buddha to send me to the West. Amitabha Buddha, Amitabha Buddha, Amitabha Buddha. Ladies and gentlemen, it's today. Continue to share with the public. Quoting from the Baojian's encyclical. Continue the previous day's work. Then I will quote a continuation of your work. Master Euthanasia. Let's all listen together. Master Udam taught people to recite the Buddha that. So, we always keep all the mental depths. The mind into the heart of devotion. Compassionate heart, humble heart. Mind equality mind means. The mind is patient, the mind maintains the precepts, the mind is happy, the mind is meditating. Assiduous mind. Bodhi mind and all good thoughts should be preserved. It's a phase of the Master. It's a great way to teach our people to recite the Buddha. Every single one of them has received. I'll share it with you. Heart. According to a sense of the great, understanding of the great, and practice of the great in everyday life. What do you say? We should always keep the Buddha in mind. People remember to listen. All the teachings of the great masters of the days. Through days of sharing, you almost use the word. What is often is often. Regularly, without interruptions, without giving up. No matter what kind of training. They remember no matter what they do. Tantra or Pure Land Buddhism. Even a profession in society. The important thing is that we often diligently practice that profession. Practice that practice method. Because of self. That's the basis, the key to our success. That. Let us achieve. It's not just our pure water method, but all the other practices, all the other professions. You want to succeed at something. You have to make a trade-off. Time to trade the call. It's called trying hard, trying hard, trying hard. But it's not just a day. If you want a meal or something. So, here you often say since we are Buddhist reciters, you should usually keep it. Before looking at sharing, you should always keep it. So usually don't interrupt, don't give up. To be diligent, it takes effort to achieve. Whether it's the world or the world. Whether it's a pure method or another method. This place is very, very important. People should be careful about this. Modern people often tell you, our practice. We give it time. Give it time. But don't let it give up. What is that time? Sometimes we are human beings. Heavy, deep karma, disturbing gases accumulated over many lives and lives. Let's fix it. Let us change ourselves. 1 meal a day is hard. It's very difficult if we apply it to something called 2 days, 3 days to do it. Then we're stressed. Sometimes days and months. It's not smart for us to have nervous tension. It's a problem, but always have the heart to try. Always try to give it time. That time I went to school for a year. 2 years wrong and corrected. Then fix this and the wrong one and fix it. It's gradually, it's step by step, day by year. But there is always the mind to try not to. If you have a lazy mind or are late to the problem, then that's right. Here's back to the modern problem. He said, our spiritual leaders need to have faith. You have to believe what is deep. Next is a thought. There is no doubt about the prayer. There is no doubt about the teachings of the Buddha, Bodhisattvas, and the benefits of the great master's calendar. Cho's belief is to place completely, absolutely with, where the teachings of the Buddhas and Bodhisattvas. What does the great calendar master call deep? It's no matter how many police officers, how much adversity, how much a word eats a voice. For example, I lead myself along a path, a direction, other direction. We still haven't changed the target. Our direction, that this life meets the Pure Land. It's a charm. It's a stroke of luck. Is the object? Blessing is a blessing that employees can't think of. It can't be silver. Because of this Buddha title, I pray for this prayer. It's not just that we can meet. And it's not just that we can meet. To hear the news and recite the Buddha's prayer for the dead. This place has been repeated many times. We are blessed enough to listen, to receive or without, or not, because the teacher is not teaching us. A person who has a deep affinity for the Pure Land then says, 1 by 2 times is natural, they build character, mind training, and they are like that. It's a true belief, a deep belief. We're the thing. Trust me. So, to the Buddhas, the ancestors naturally recited the Buddha, pray and work for the rest of their lives. There is one. Not enough or not enough grace. They are not ready, even if you tell them. Not only do they not listen, they don't believe. On the contrary, are defamatory. What does Germany say? That's a trivial thing, normal thing. So you guys, when you remind the AI, to motivate AI or to promote AI Buddhist practice, pray for that if you can. If people listen, this person is not simple. Too much of a husband. And people don't listen. People slander or people ignore. We know that in the Bible. What is Pure Land Dharma? It's an unbelievable practice, but it's easy to practice. It's easy to practice, but it's hard to believe. But it's hard to believe that the Bible says that. That's what the teachings of the Buddhas say. Then once we advise the AI to remind the AI to recite the Buddha, they call it anti-deception. Then we see that normally Buddha has already said before. So, here's the problem of reconstruction. The believer must come out of deep faith. He said people who recite the Buddha must come from deep faith. What is deep is an unchanging thought. A thought without doubt. There's no doubtful notion. Absolute belief is the recitation of the Buddha. I pray for your life. Surely the future of this life. I am an ecstatic person, 1% sure. That's what faith has to be. That's what faith is. Now with your prayer, take a vow to follow. I accept your salvific reception, a person, and vow to save the Kia. Those who want to be saved, these two, to heart-willing copper, travel together. It's called communication. Then our birth. We are sure of the birth. You have to believe this place. So, good Guru, what do you mean by he gave an example? Even if the 10 ways the Buddhas have radiated light, whether the Bodhisattva calendar, the earth is called. On the Bodhisattva's isosceles, even if the Bodhisattva sensed literati, even the levels of evidence, ejection optical display down, this tells us we have a better enemy. more special than the Pure Land method. They want to teach us, when we give up the Pure Land Dharma, we only have respect for them. For you? How to pray? At first I prayed to the Buddha. My whole life is pure. I dare not, contrary to my original will. Please allow me to keep this promise. My first. People remember what's important is to keep the reverent mind of a person of one rank. Let's take a look at Zen Buddhism. Come on, let's go inside. Please call me to convert. You are very good at meditation. I am not defaming you. Or don't listen to them. Any method is good. Every teaching is the teaching of the Buddha. But each one of them has grace. Each of them has a different identity. We feel our identity. It is a good idea and we can do it. Then for those who, for us, we have respect. What do? Their story. They do their thing. But I find myself reciting the Buddha. I have peace of mind. Teaching. It's the Bible, not that I say it casually. Trust me. We have to understand the problem here. That's what always has respect for the people around you. But it doesn't take away the mind, the will of ourselves. Do people understand this place? People know that the Master is good. The reason why he gave the example, even though the 10 ways of the Bodhisattvas, the sages, have appeared. There is pride in us. Change the method still has an unchanged bow. Please be the first to keep your mind. Because you are compassionate. You say sentient beings. The French know that it is easy. But trust is weak. It is easy to see mountains. This mountain looks like a mountain. So what is the status quo? Lunch, no lunch, suspect. So, you give this example. Let us strengthen our faith. Even if the Buddhas tell us to convert. Not even converted. What about ordinary people? So-called writers in the world. It's called the American trainer. It's a trivial thing for us. It's for us. So, you hear this place has to try. What is deep news? Is an unsuspecting thought. No matter what the circumstances are, keep your mind. Recitation of this Buddha's request for ecstasy. What is the mind? He said continue. A person who recites the Buddha must have the spirit sincere heart. Sincere heart. You have to know how to use the word city. It is a heart of one. To be honest, where this Buddha's motto is don't be false, don't be false. Don't camouflage outside. Don't make a thin coating. The outside shows that I am a practitioner. My mouth is empty. My mouth says I recite the Buddha. But it's actually in our minds. Are we really? Whether it's the West or not? What is this place called? See for yourself who you are. What kind of person you are must have the spirit to be. The soul is sincere. There is definitely a sacredness. The holy thing here is to have compassion. There is compassion. So we recite the Buddha as the cause and effect. Buddha is the fruit we sow the true cause. There must be some truth. So, in the Buddha's thoughts, I'd rather be passionate. Because of this life is sure to come. Let's not ask whether we are born or not. Whether we are led by the Buddha or not. How do we live this life? It's about whether we are sincere or not. There is a spirit. The truth is that the truth is simply true. To be honest, really because of the recitation of the Buddha. Not because of a name or a form. A hexagonal outside, let's ask for a name. Is a righteous person practicing his religious education and not have to use a state that's mouth. Then he said practice. But when it comes to love, when you meet someone who is angry, oh wow, it's called a double life. That's 180 degrees. This person is not the mind. The mind is in any situation. Put this mentality, put this wish. It's the practice of everything. Take it as a vehicle to condition the opportunity to examine one's own mind, to build a sense of purpose. It's not about taking that for profit. And you have to be sincere. Don't pretend to remember. There is a God on the head. How do we practice? How do we practice? It's for our own benefit. No one does it for us, and no one can give us that just for us. You should use the mind to practice it. It's true, it's true, it's true. Because of death, and not for a small name in this world. It's a waste. The wisdom of life. Once in a lifetime we meet this pure land, we notice that place. Continue saying the recitation of the Buddha. There must be a commitment to that direction. This sentence is very special, as your reminders are. It's why they advise you, but often pray for the birth. At least, at the very least, follow the teachings of the Lord. It's something. It's dark. There is little to pray about. It always reminds me. It always leads us to a path. It's called Western ecstasy. Is that in this life we go to the West ecstatic, do something, touch something? Every time I remember to the ecstasy of the West, then we'll be slightly sad about everything. Because there's always a goal, there's always a direction, there is always a purpose to go. Let's say we go to Saigon from here. There's a clear direction. Meet the intersection, meet anything on this road from Ria Vung Tau to Saigon. But we have a straight target and we'll meet. We can see it, but the way we go, That's why I keep reminding you. Always be alert, so here it says. What people often say to you, the heart of devotion, it must always be in us. It must always be in us. This Buddha sign, it can be interrupted, but this will not be interrupted. This wishes to preserve your whole life. Sometimes there is too much work or bad luck. The Buddha says we are interrupted, to be consumed and forgotten. But this wish sounds charming. What a scene! There is only one wish, that you go to the West ecstatically. I went to the West. Don't change this vow, don't redirect. This vow does not leave. The original goal was to pray for God's forgiveness. This place is very important. I want to do that, Master. And what does the Master's calendar tell us? 2 hours in the morning. Whatever you do, practice prayer. Even though I know that my will is steady, I'm sure. But let's do the equation for the people who come after. Those who practice later. Those who practice later. Sometimes many people are unscrupulous. People don't know what it's for. But to hear the prayer of the dead, earnestly for the matter of dying, more or less accidentally, people know how to recite Buddha. Gradually, people went to prison. Let people go the right way. That's the biggest goal of a Buddhist. That is, this world must return to the Western world. Who recites the Buddha's wish for happiness is to do the right thing of the Master who likes Ca Manu Ni, is to do the duty of Germany from Father Dido. This place is important. Continue to have compassion. Always have a heart of compassion. Compassion is giving joy, and compassion is to save suffering. Right? That's right. There's a mind to keep on going. It's about compassion, right? Compassion, people. I have compassion here. It's easy to understand. Love the people around you. Love the people around you. Even those who make themselves adversity, difficult obstacles. Then we know that doing good is good. When you do evil, there is evil. What is the future of our Buddha reciters? The future is ecstatic people. Enjoy the happiness up there. Enjoy the peace and dignity on it. Everyone who does evil, adversity to me. Suffering for me is naturally the opposite of me. Don't blame them. What we say about the future, we are born. The future, they are lost. That I said I was born in the West ecstasy. What is the purpose? People remember to listen. The purpose of the Western-born ecstasy. It's not for personal enjoyment. It's not selfish for me personally. No matter what kind of teaching you have, because what is the goal? To the end of sentient beings. Endless sentient beings swear their vows. That's the first idea of a scholar. But in this environment, in this woman's situation, we have that big heart, but without the ability, not enough power. In order to be born, we need to rely on God's grace. Your help, your help. Let's say I'm a commoner. What can we do to help the people? But we know how to rely on a king. We are near you. You are special. You can teach him to be an officer. There is a power. If we are in power, we want to be human beings. We want to save our people. We want to make it easy. It's easier. Too, we're in this world as a commoner, a mortal. Are you still worried? I can't help myself to help others, but it's about the Western world being born, is to rely on that environment, to rely on the deed of vow to cultivate the mind, to nourish the mind of Bodhi, quickly become a Buddha, to return to Rosh, to the end of sentient beings. So people recite the Buddha. Not negative thinking for me personally. That you have to remember. It's our birth. For the benefit of all sentient beings. Even many people say that recitation of the Buddha, beautiful death, is also an idea for sentient beings. For sentient beings, see the pure method. Dharma recitation, Buddha to enmity, when thy magic the dead are too beautiful. So, that's not what the mind wants, but what it is. Beautiful death is also for the benefit of sentient beings. That's prayer, not prayer. So, what we're about to bring to the world, it's not ambition. Be selfish for yourself. It's my prayer. To pray for life. To quickly become Buddha level near sentient beings. What is it that the person who recites the Buddha invokes? He's a compassionate person who knows his strength. Know your strength. Continue to be humble. A person who recites the Buddha must have a humble mind. I'm sure this is a lot to talk about today. You all have these minds. With the understanding of humanity, sharing the truth is a bit long. You try to listen. We can listen to it a few times. To arouse these minds. What is the heart of Kim? Master Kwong said, who recites our Buddha? We must know. We are ordinary people being close to the ground. We need to know that with the ability, with one of our powers in this world, I really want to solve the problem of death. To walk the path, solve death and birth alone. It's very difficult. That there's support. If there is a prayer, it is easy. It's very easy. Then here at Sao we arise the heart of Kim Xia. Every time someone makes it difficult, it's called lowering yourself. Whoever insults me, I keep saying one thing. To say what is, that's right, I'm the kind of person I say in my heart. That's right, I'm bad. It's bad enough to have to rely on God's will. I'm a mortal being close to the ground. So, we need to pray, to rely on that environment, rely on the grace of Maida to practice. Let's use that simple, humble mind. I think I'm a mortal. I think I'm incompetent. Not enough money and not enough time to argue. To reason, think that Master Kwong said. We always put, we are mortals being close to the ground. There is no mind that can rest more than you. Not more than people, not with people. Then know the fate that try to recite the Buddha's wish to be born. Don't argue. Don't go arguing Chicho tired. Who says what he is a mortal? You're stupid. So I recited the Buddha's wish. I don't know what we're missing. If we always have that kind of mind, there is no controversy. If there is more than losing, continue here. There is always equality. Always have equal mind, I say. In this world, there is always a fight over losing. Because AI also thinks that AI is bigger than this person, bigger than the key. I know better than you. You know better than me. As for the Western ecstatic world, Sao, mind equality, body equality. The Buddha knows clearly, in these three women there is always more struggle than loss, because everyone's body is different, everyone's mind is different, everyone's thoughts are different. What about the ecstatic Western world? Body. Identical assimilation. The human mind also has a mind that does not understand each other. We all know each other. There is no more fighting than losing. There is always equality. I want to be equal in this woman. What we simply think is, the world is like that. I don't think it's done. Keep reciting the Buddha honestly. If you really think of the Buddha more than me, just give them more. Who better than me? Let them use their mind. If you sincerely recite the Buddha's request for ecstasy, you will surely, when you return to the world, surely we will have an equal mind. Why? Because on it there is identification between its body and mind. What it says is that it's identified with each other. Together with all our heart, there is the mind is the same. There is no better mind than losing. They're jealous and they don't know each other anymore. If we know everything, we are equal. Equal to each other. It goes on to say that using the mind means being patient. Media center. It's using all kinds of skillful means. 1. Any form can remind you. Motivate many people. So, people with the Buddha's name. It's as good as a Buddhist recitation machine. Digital press here. We do so. It is good for them to sow Buddhist seeds. It's what it's used for. Use the medium. Using the means of the shameful mind is like saying, why do people complain about their village? Difficult challenge. I can be patient for thinking that I'm a mortal. I am ordinary, I am ordinary. Master Guang said, I was ordinary. I believe I am ordinary. The good master said, must believe that we are the ones who are immersed in the 6 ways of life and death. This life, if you do not grasp the buoy of the vow, I can't quite grasp the Leo rope of prayer. How do we get rid of that? Suffering in these 6 religions. Once you think about what's coming to us, be patient. Let's go through this life. But actually, thinking about it, it's small. But to enjoy peace, quickly become Buddha-level beings. Life and life in the ecstatic Western world. In the ecstatic Western world. Down here want to be patient mind. Think that you're not equal to people. So I recite the Buddha, I'm not as good as you should be. I pray to God. I'm not the same person. Be quick. Quickly to the ecstasy of the Western world. That's why prayer is so important. Diligent mind, meditation mind. What is meditation according to the great meditation? Here you encounter any kind of adversity. Just ask again, do you have a prayer in your heart or not? In my mind, do you want to return to the ecstasy of the West? If you can keep this mind, that's the center of the Dharma vow. Focus on this Buddha sign. So, when you hit the ground, just look at your mind and remember the Buddha. Still reciting even Buddha. A little sad, though. Suffer a little too. But to keep that in mind is to secure the birth part. It's meditation. Diligence is perseverance. Tons is going to be our practitioner. I want to be on the path. Don't give up this trust. Believe this is professional news. The most specialized is easy to become, and the monastic is difficult to become. Pure method we. The scariest but most difficult to succeed. That's the great master. He said it was a magazine. The temple does not comply with the Maitreya vow. The church does not comply with its teachings of the great masters of the Bodhisattvas and Buddhas. That whatever the world is the number of worlds. To be successful, you have to be dedicated, must be single-minded, then you succeed and you move forward, so diligently. It also means hard work. What it believes here is the only specialist. Press forward, not backward. Press forward and not backward. And to do that, you have to be the only expert and must persevere diligently. That's what the word diligence means. So, it continues to be bodhicitta. You have to generate bodhicitta. What is that? What is the mind of Bodhi? That bodhicitta mind is the mind. May the faithful pray the heart to be born blissfully. That's the great bodhicitta. At Sao, because of the belief in the Buddha's wish to be born. When you become a Buddha and then return to the level of all sentient beings, that's the mind of the Buddha. All 10 directions of Buddhas, born in this world. For what purpose in this world? For the benefit of all sentient beings. Now we have the faith to recite the Buddha, to pray for ecstasy. For the benefit of all sentient beings. Same-sex aspirations of the 10 directions of the Buddhas. So today, but I read this part again. People who recite the Buddha should always keep a deep mind. The heart of devotion, compassion, humility, equality, the means of, the heart of shame, the heart of happiness, diligent meditation mind, Bodhi mind with all good thoughts. Let's keep it really modern. What was the last thing I shared? Listen to this stage. You just have to have faith and pray to the Buddha. For preaching, because of the ecstasy of the Western world, I want to save all sentient beings. I want to benefit all sentient beings. Always have the idea of the Buddha's wish for the West's ecstasy. Then all this mind that's been shared by the modern world, everything is complete. And what is it? If there is always a mind, passionate about the birth of the Buddha's prayer is still alive, then these minds are in fullness. What is the mind in the end? So finally he said to generate bodhicitta. What is bodhi mind? Who recites the Buddha, the bodhicitta mind? My heart prays for the ecstasy of the West. Let's go through this modern stage. I hope you will try to make an effort, determined, diligent. This life is born in the West ecstasy. I wish you the best of luck. This life is soon born. About the ecstatic Western world. Non-tissue AD do Buddha.